Alright guys, here we go. Good afternoon everyone, it's KrebsCOHO here with a company of heroes replay. This time around we're going to be doing a 1v1 on the map Egletons. I hope you're all doing very well because today we've got a good matchup. I would actually say probably the last two replays, the last few that we've done have been really top notch. Good gameplay in them. And this one's going to be pretty damn good as well. So I hope you guys are going to kick back, relax, and just listen to a bit of Krebs. So anyway guys, we're going to be doing a 1v1. Our opponents today are going to be InsaneBond as the Brits down south over here. Up north, we're going to be taking a look at TheFlyingSamurai as the Wehrmacht. Hello to you, Deutsch Reich. Deutsch Reich, I hope I said that right. And especially the Reich part to it. So we're at the 5-second mark and we're going to be kickstarting this in 3 seconds. So in 3, 2, 1, and let's begin. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And on we go to another very exciting matchup in the Company of Heroes battlefield. I've gotten a few comments lately. Sorry for bothering you, I'm your fan. I've gotten a few comments lately that apparently I talk a lot. Is it true that Krebs talks a lot? Do you think Krebs should be more silent during a cast? I don't know, I feel like the urge of actually saying things when they have to be said, not speaking absolute rubbish, but when they have to be said. Let me know in the comment box below. I always like constructive criticism. Destructive criticism can be a bit irking in a way. So let's take a look at the map. What you see on this one is that it's different from what we're usually used to. A lot of maps are quite symmetrical, as in, for example, say you're looking at a vital fuel point on a map. It'll be on one corner, and then on the other corner, it'll be replicated. It'll be there as well. And so, basically, both teams have equal chances at holding those vital points. Whereas on this map, it's actually a lot different. I'm going to let you guys actually take a look at it. What you'll notice is that there's a lot of low fuel points mixed in with medium and even high points. Notice how that the vital fuel point and also vital munitions point are on the corners of the map. It's not symmetrical. It's not symmetrical, okay? You don't have a vital fuel point on this side and then also on that side. You have a vital fuel point here and a vital munitions point. And they also have cutoff points. So in order to actually succeed in this map, you're going to have to, well, capture these points. It's as easy as that. You don't have the equal opportunity of capturing a fuel point that's closer to your side on a symmetrical map. This is all or nothing. This is capturing that vital point and getting it. So what we can already see from the Flying Samurai here is 6, why was I going to say 3 pioneers? 6 pioneers coming out onto the field and doing a massive cap, which isn't really a bad thing, to be honest, because if you look at all the points on the map, this is perfect. But not only that, actually a good strategy to take on your Brit opponent is to outcap him. Get a lot of pioneers, get the cap on the go, take as much strategic points as you can straight away. If you can try to win the fuel or the resource race as soon as possible, then that can be advantageous for you. Because remember, you always have to, in a way, compete against the Brit and their resources, because they don't need a lot of points on the map. They only need a few high points or medium points here and there, park the bus on top of it, and they're getting the same amount of resources as you are. So you need to make sure that you cap majority of the map. Also, another nice thing is that it's not the end state of the pioneers just the cap. They can also easily get on up flamethrowers, which are highly effective against the British infantry. Very useful to actually take them on, and not let alone to actually, you know, kill their buildings, their emplacements, and if they put down any trenches, well, you got tons of flames to make up for it. We've got some hot skirmishes going on between the pioneers and also the infantry section here. The close range effectiveness of the SMGs and the 2 pioneer squads, one of them gone, allowed them to actually combat the Tommy squad quite effectively. InsaneBond not actually using his advantage of ranged attack to actually take on these pioneers. That's what he should have been doing. Just keep a distance from them, because as futile and weak these SMGs are, in numbers and close proximity to your enemy, they can actually be surprisingly effective. So the best thing to have done in that circumstance was to probably just keep your distance and then engage from far away, where the SMGs obviously have zero chance of actually pretty much hitting you. Brit carrier out on the field right now. we've got a few Tommy squads out right here, lieutenant, and also the that Bren carrier. So harassing the pioneers a little bit, which is good to just keep them moving around the field. Not exactly sure if this is a micro fail of sorts, but he's just trying to decap it, I suppose. Is he gonna make him go away? Go away, Flying Samurai? Or are you gonna let him die? Alright, I think that's a micro fail. Maybe it's just too much pioneers to micro on the field. 5 is the maximum. Any more is too much, and so he just let him die. But look at this. Wow. 4 minutes and 40 seconds into the game. That fast, we've already got a T2 Krieg barracks coming up. Wow. That is fast as hell. The reason they could actually go up that fast is not, let alone that they capped so much of the field so fast, but they also didn't build a Wehrmacht quarters. So funnily enough, if you look in their base, there's no Wehrmacht quarters, which is quite odd to see for a Wehrmacht player, but that's what they've actually opted for, and instead they've saved their fuel and also manpower to just head on up to that T2 Krieg barracks straight away. So Pioneer Squad going down. I think they had a flamethrower there if I'm not mistaken, and also the Bren carrier going down as a result of sticking around a bit too long. So unit preservation seems to be a little bit lacking in the beginning of the game at the moment, but it seems like it's pretty much an eye for an eye. 2 Pioneers went down to the cost of a Bren carrier. We've also seen the field support truck just come out on the field here. You can see that there's sappers coming out on the field. Not a captain, not going to be going up for a Stewart, because the thing about the Stewart is, as I'd like to say in other episodes, and just in general, it's meant to be a pushing unit. It's meant to be fast-teched, and when your opponent least expects it, then you surprise them with it. However, that's not going to happen, because your opponent, the Wehrmacht, have already got a T2 Krieg barracks, meaning they can get Grenadiers if they wanted to with Panzerschrecks, or they can even get a pack out on the field, which is direct counters against the Stewart. So pretty much no point in going for it. Instead, he's opted for sappers, and I'm guessing what he's going to be doing with them is getting some Piats, because you can see that the half track is being used to great effectiveness here. There's a a great deal of Grenadiers out on the field right now. Also the flamethrower Pioneers supporting them with the flames over in the back. Are they going to even fire? No, they're not going to even fire. They're just staying in the back here, harassing the base. Maybe they know that they're going to be upgraded. Are they going to be upgraded? I don't know. I don't think they can be upgraded at the moment with Panzerschrecks, because if they had Panzerschrecks, they would just lay waste to this headquarters. But they need to be in their own territory. But the funny thing is, looking at how this map is set up, this fuel point over here, because it stretches out in a different direction, it can actually just, they can go in this territory right there, and then they can just be upgraded from there. Sorry about that, guys. It's a bit abrupt. My flatmate came in and it just was a bit loud, so I had to go close the door. We're at the 7-minute and 18-second mark, and going to be continuing in 3 seconds. So in 3, 2, 1, and let's begin. 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. There we go. So continuing on with the match here, you can see that there's the Flame Pioneers that are harassing over here, but that half track has already been taken out by the Piat squads. So fast to be taken out. That was meant to be a vital portion of the Wehrmacht offending task force right here, but unfortunately that thing is down, which is not good. Which is not good at all. And so now what we've got instead is that the Wehrmacht have to fall back. They've got the pack up here that is just there to let the Brits know that its presence is on the field, but they don't have anywhere to reinforce at the moment. The Wehrmacht need some sort of place to reinforce. They need a half track. They need a forward HQ of possibility. Actually, a forward HQ would be a really strange but possibly effective way of moving on forward here. Even if they put down, if they went for a defensive commander and then put down a medic bunker, oh my gosh, that could actually be devastating right now, don't you think, guys? Not only would they be able to reinforce from pretty much right at the steps, the footsteps, the doorstep of the Brits, but they would also have medics picking up all the wounded and turning them into zombie grenadiers. It would be so effective, I think. Especially on a map like this, how the points just stretch out right on across the map. So another Pioneer squad going down, the Tommy's moving on up, and they're just having the effect of actually moving on up because the Wehrmacht don't have anywhere to reinforce at the moment. This Tommy squad needs to get on out of there. Panzerschrecks mystically disappearing into mid-air. No idea what's happening with the mid-air flight of the Panzerschrecks right there. Medics for the Brits picking up the wounded that was left behind and just moving on across the field. Are the Wehrmacht going to even notice this, or are they going to focus elsewhere? Are they going to be firing at the medics, or are they going to focus on the Piet squad? Well, it depends. Doesn't really look like they're even focusing on them at the moment. So that's going to be 2 out of 5 guys needed for the Brits in order for them to get a free squad out of that. Very helpful stuff. I think that's already 2 out of 5. So they'll need an extra 1 more guy, and that'll be a free Tommy squad out of there. Something you don't want to give your opponents. They could easily have killed off those medics, which I think they should have done. But okay. And look at that! 1 guy died right there, right at the next to the medic center, and that is an extra squad out. So easy. So the Wehrmacht coming in with more numbers right now. I guess, what are they trying to achieve here? Are they just trying to kill off the infantry sections as much as they can? I suppose the nice thing about throwing all these grenades is they're killing quite a few guys, and it's quite costly for the Brits to reinforce. But at the same time, they're not really finishing them off, and you know, I think this is when using your doctrines to be effective, or using your doctrines would be very effective. So for example, if you went for the Blitzkrieg doctrine and you had assault grenades, everything would be pinned down, they wouldn't be going anywhere, and then you would just absolutely tear them apart. Or if you had defensive commander, you could just put down a medic bunker over here, and you'd be getting so many free squads, and also you'd be able to replenish your guys right there. And let alone, if the Tommies came back even a bit closer, you could throw on For the Fatherland, fight right on the top of the stairs over here. You'd have a great fighting chance. So whilst all this fighting was going on, combating, the right hand side has been capped and decapped by the Brits. You can see that the Brits are holding a lot more points than they did earlier in the game, and that's just taking advantage of the Wehrmacht putting their full frontal brute force on the Brit base. They didn't have as many pioneers alive as they did early on in the game. If they still had those pioneers alive, they could be capping along the right hand side, being effective. But unfortunately, that unit preservation, come on, unit preservation is so important. How many times does Krebs need to repeat himself? Unit preservation is important. Oh my gosh. Gah. This is an irk of mine. Grenadier grenade only killing 1 guy, even though there's 10 guys inside a building. Funnily enough, throwing a grenade in a particular window actually has a certain effect. Does that make sense? Did I say that right? Throwing a grenade into a certain into a particular window in a building has a greater effect than throwing it into another window. So for example, if you throw it into a side of the building that has many windows, then it's less likely to kill more guys. Whereas if you throw a grenade into a side of a building that has less windows, it's actually more likely to kill more guys. Don't ask me to exactly explain how that works, but it's probably because maybe there's less guys or more guys in less rooms. I don't know exactly how it works, but it actually that is how it works. But funnily enough, the Grenadier grenade only killing 1 guy in that building, that's a bit strange. It should have definitely killed more than that. But then again, Grenadier grenades are sort of known for being a bit ineffective. Hey ho! Just blasting away a tree just because he can. I guess that's meant to be a move of intimidation by the Wehrmacht here, by the Flying Samurai. Just blowing up a tree saying, "Ho! We can't stop you!" But how about this? This must be intimidating. Massive Brit blob moving in over here. At the same time, it's a bit hypocritical to say that this is a blob and that the Wehrmacht aren't blobbing up, because they have quite a few number of Grenadiers all in the same location, don't they? So we've got some sparse Grenadiers around here, just all in different locations. I have a feeling that this guy is probably going to go down. Yeah. Unit preservation, up north. Oh my god, what the hell happened up here? It looked like a massacre. The Light Stewart used a canister round and tore apart all the guys. You can see the XP being launched up into the air, and the deformities of the men as they were torn apart by that round. Wow, talk about boom and zoom, running and gunning. That is how you do it. You go in, you do your damage, and then you just head on out. No point losing a Stuart there. And so if you look at the map, it's all in the hands of the Brits right now. Wehrmacht have next to none, and I'm going to be blaming it on a lot of unit preservation right now, and also a lack of using the correct doctrinal abilities. So I suppose this replay, we can probably firmly say right now, it isn't as high quality as the ones that we've seen previously in the last 2 or so episodes. But it's still good enough for critiquing what this player is doing wrong. You can tell that unit preservation is one of the big things to take into consideration here. Losing pioneers shouldn't happen. I mean, obviously they're easy to lose, but it still shouldn't happen. Losing Panzerschreck Grenadiers definitely shouldn't happen. You shouldn't be giving your opponent your Panzerschrecks. But also, there's a little bit of a lack of doctrinal abilities here. So as I was speaking a little bit earlier about the good possible usage of using assault grenades or the defensive commander, those things could have made huge differences on the overall turnout of this game. We've got Commandos out on the field. Look how they've got Panzerschreck equipped on them. Throwing a grenade, taking out almost this entire Grenadier squad, and now they're retreating. The lonesome Commando with a Panzerschreck. Panzerschreck indeed. I remember back in Company of Heroes, if anyone ever watched, or Company of Heroes Online, if anyone ever watched Harlequin, he used to call the lone bazooka man in a rifleman squad. This is Company of Heroes Online, mind you. Yes, you could get bazooka on a rifleman squad. He called him the Bazooka Joe squad, the Bazooka Joe man rather. Bazooka Joe. Don't know what you'd call this commando. Tommy Panzerschreck? Panzerschreck Tommy? Kind of weird. It's very, very rare you'd see that anyway. Whereas Bazooka Joe was a common sight to see. Stuart heading back out onto field here, but notice how there's a Stug out by the Flying Samurai, so direct counter against the Stuart. But then again, Stuart using his ability to fly around the Stuart with no problem, and he's just running circles and laps. And in fact, I don't really like what the Stuart's doing. Okay, now he's retreating. That's good. That's good, because it looked like he was going to come in for another lap, and that was just going to be saying, wow, you have big balls. That is too much. He'd probably get killed by the Grenadier squad, if not the Stug. The Stug. So that's a direct counter out on the field for this against the Stuart. So he needs to be careful about that. But I like that he was using the advantage of mobility to go around the Stug. And that's how you lose him, right? So the Wehrmacht pushing out of the base, trying to attempt to reclaim land that was previously land that they fought on. But still, it's not theirs. It's not theirs for the taking just yet. They still need to move on forward. All of these guys, all this infantry on the field is just asking for a medic station, a medic bunker. I don't know why it's not out in the field. Usually you would think that if there's so much infantry, you would invest into something like that. It's only 150 manpower and 50 munitions. Come on, it's not even that much. And it would help a lot. I mean, come on, if you can afford a stew, 600 freaking manpower, you can definitely afford a medic bunker. But I have a feeling it's probably not crossed his mind, or maybe he doesn't think it's a necessity at the moment. Panzerschreck's wrecking this stew. Please don't tell me it's gonna die right now. Please don't tell me. Commandos trying to close in from a distance here. If they hit this, its main gun is destroyed. Oh my gosh. Taking the brunt of another Panzerschreck shot. I thought that actually would have been him finished off. And it's gone! Flying Samurai, what are you playing at? I thought this was going to be a good replay when I was watching it in 8 times. That is just throwing away your units now. Commando being sniped off by the Stug in some sort of retaliation. And again! Another snipe. Wow, this is quite rare. It doesn't happen this frequently that a Stug is able to snipe opponents. And it is able to, obviously, if you've just seen it. It has a bit of a blast radius when it fires. But come on, that was a bit rare. So all the Wehrmacht in retreat at the moment. They've only got 2 Grenadier squads. No idea what happened to them. Come on, Grenadiers. And unit preservation. We've only got 1 Pioneer out of the original 6. We got 2 Grenadiers out of the original 4 or 5. 1 Stu has gone down, and all we have left is a Stug. This isn't turning out to be the best game, is it, guys? It's not turning out to be the best game. This guy sort of reminds me a bit of, like, Bodhidharma. Or, yeah, Bodhidharma with his unit preservation. He comes out with these things. He throws them out onto the field. They die. They do their damage. They die. And then he just purchases more. And you realize that he could have made a big impact and potentially won the game if he didn't lose his units. Just slight tweaks to the strategy can make this game so easy, such an easy turnaround. If even now he invested in some medic bunkers and such, he can still turn it around. I mean, you still got the necessary infantry out in the field and units to pretty much combat tanks and mostly infantry. I want somewhat infantry. I mean, the Stug is surprisingly getting off quite a few snipes on infantry. So hey ho, you got some anti-infantry. But yeah, having some a medic bunker out right now, even if you want to try to make a comeback, would definitely help. See, this is something I definitely don't agree in. Why do you charge up a pioneer with a flamethrower when he's only got 1 man and he's low on health? Yeah, fair enough, those guys retreated, but if they were a bit smarter, they could easily have finished off this pioneer. And just, that would have been basic stuff. Hey Krebs, these could be interesting for a World of Tanks cast. Thank you, Nebu. Thank you, dear Sensei. If you watch the other casts I do on this channel, such as World of Tanks, World of War Thunder, I like to call Nebu the Sensei because he's got such amazing statistics. The Grandmaster Nebu. Alright, so Cromwell out in the field. Let's see where this armor command truck was placed down. It was placed down right on top of the fuel. Not a bad decision. I would actually think that the armor command truck should be placed down on the munitions. Personally. Yes, it's a bit far away from the main force of the Brits. So if the Wehrmacht actually attacked it, it could be sort of by itself. But then again, he's got plenty of fuel at the moment. He doesn't need more fuel income. If he had more munitions income, that's never a bad thing. Because if you go for your Commandos, your Royal Commandos over here, you can get obviously a howitzer. Shoot, oh god, what do they call it? What's the exact name for it? Is it just like off-map artillery? Is that what they call it? Well, you can get off-map artillery and just call it on the field. Obviously, it costs munitions to call down. And that would be more effective, in my opinion, to do that. Especially when you are leading so much in a game. It's unlikely that the Wehrmacht is even going to go down along the right-hand side and try to claim it back right now. Cromwell going down, but the Stug going down at the same time as well. What is this over here? We've got 1 glider. Notice how it's at the base. That is put down. Commandos are cheaper to produce from a glider than they are to get the squad from the glider itself when you initially call it out on the field. So if you can try to keep those gliders alive and you want more anti-infantry, well hey ho, just put it down at your base if you want to, and there you go. But the nice thing about these gliders, they actually act as reinforcement points as well. So they're almost in a way like mobile forward HQs. So it wouldn't even be a terrible idea to call one out just like around here, get your guys back, reinforce near it, and then get back onto the battlefield. It's not a bad idea at all. And in a way you can make almost an approaching, a crawling defensive line. You could put up another triage casualty cleaning center around here. You could put up that glider out in the field, and it'd be right on the doorstep of your opponent. So turn around that possible idea of, hey, the Wehrmacht can get down a medic bunker on our front line. We could get down a glider. We could get down a casualty cleaning center right on their front line. We'll get loads of infantry. We can get healed up. We can get reinforced. We can call out more commandos from that glider. It's all a great idea. Don't see what's wrong with it. So there we go. That is the 25-pounder artillery barrage. So it does have a name. Coming down onto the field, chasing these guys away. Another Cromwell going down, and a bunch of Brit infantry being killed off. These guys are reinforcing at the moment. costly sort of stuff if you want to be getting more tanks and then you have a high upkeep of reinforcing your guys out on the field. Another great argument to say why you should get another casualty clearing center, just so you can get free men from it. And also heal up your guys. On the right hand side, we've got the Wehrmacht moving on up forward. Notice how the Commandos are trying to intercept them, coming in from the side. And the other ones, the other Tommies, or sappers rather, coming in from the left-hand side, but they're actually putting down defenses in terms of mines than anything else. Grenade coming down, killing off a bunch of guys, almost like a nuclear pineapple in a way, isn't it? It's not has the same sort of damage as a nuclear pineapple, looks like almost. Don't think it's as effective as one, but killed off quite a few guys there and damaged them quite severely. Wehrmacht's still trying to be intimidating, this time blowing up fences with their Panzerschrecks. I think that's all that the Wehrmacht are relying on at the moment, isn't it? The intimidation. It's like, oh screw it, we cannot do anything. We can even call out a tiger on the field, but it's all just to be intimidating. We know it's not going to have any effectiveness because we can't use them properly. Well, you know, I can't use them properly. But it's just intimidating because, hey, I've got a tiger and I can also use my Grenadiers to shoot Panzerschrecks at trees and fences. Okay, well, the Tiger is out in the field. And it's almost like Bodhidharma, isn't it? Just calling out the next tier of infantry or units, or whatever. Calling out the next tier of your units out onto the field. Being disposable with them. Sometimes retreating. Getting your guys reinforced. Over on the left-hand side, we've got that Cromwell just over here, and a massive Brit blob is forming up. You can't really blame the Brits, in a way. I mean, you can, because they have built quite a few infantry, but then again, they have this casualty clearing center here, which got at least one free squad from it. I'm not sure if it got any more. But it's not like you can help sometimes. I mean, it's not like you can help that you get so many free squads out of a casualty clearing center and medic bunker. And then it starts looking like a spam of sorts. It's just what it is. So we got Piats mixed in with the Bren guns. We've got sappers here being upgraded with Piats. And that's all they need to counter pretty much everything that the Wehrmacht have to offer at the moment. The Bren guns obviously going to be able to button this Tiger. You've got the double Piats meant to act as the anti-tank. And then, where is the rest of the infantry for the Brits? They're over here on the right-hand side. I guess they're just going to try to reclaim as much territory as possible. Over here, we've got... triangulation! This is funny. So you can see them actually on this mini-map here. The other one's over here somewhere. I can't see it. I'm being blind. I just clicked on it there. But we have another triangulation. So we have triangulation that allows you to see in this direct triangle of the 3 points. It allows you to see what units are passing through there, whether it's tanks, infantry, whatever, snipers. It allows you to see them moving on the mini-map. Very, very effective thing to have. So, in a way, just sealing the deal, isn't it? It's becoming easier and easier for the Brits. It's actually quite funny when people accuse you of being a map hacker when you've actually just got like triangulation put down. Or you've got a vampire half-track being hidden somewhere on the field. Even sometimes a sniper being hidden somewhere and people just call you a map hacker. Man, I was just using the normal game mechanics, nothing wrong with that. Cloak Kettenkrad, another example. Stormtroopers. Piat ambush. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff. Alright, here we got the Stu trying to harass these Commandos. They closed in. They've got double Panzerschrecks. Can you believe this? A Commando squad with double Panzerschrecks. If it wasn't bad enough that you give your opponent your own weapon, but giving him two of the same weapons, come on. The Wehrmacht gave the Brits 2 free Panzerschrecks on a Commando squad. Wow. Brilliant. So now they can just call down their smoke screen. They can just camouflage and get close on something and just unleash nearby. Staghound is out on the field here. It's not often that we actually see Staghounds in these replays. But we've got that Staghound right there, and he's going to be moving on up forward, going to be acting as the anti-infantry. Look at that. Tearing up these guys. Wow, like absolutely nothing. Even though they've got Vet 2 on them, giving them elite armor, still nothing compared to a single stat count. And I guess this is why people don't like stat counts in this patch. They believe that it is too overpowered, it's too powerful for what it is. And look how easily it just tore apart that Grenadier squad, eh? It's pure anti-infantry, that's all it is. It's having trouble killing off this last Grenadier here. Is he just gonna stay here? Is he just gonna stay? Well, he's gonna end up getting killed if he does. Tiger over there, taking some shots out on the Cromwell. Let's see this stat count go down. And there we go. I guess he didn't really care about it. He just wanted to harass as much as possible, and that's pretty much almost all of the territory for the Wehrmacht gone now. All the Brits have to do is decap this, and that's literally pretty much almost all the points gone for them. Cut off. Okay, here comes the double Panzerschreck Commando squad. Oh god! Actually having to fall back. And that's I think that one of the Panzerschrecks. Oh, I thought it was a Panzerschreck on the ground. It's actually the flowers. Those are the flowers. They look like a circle that goes around the weapons that are dropped. Yeah, why not? 29 points and counting down. That is the VPs slowly ticking away here, but you can tell the demise of the Wehrmacht is just around the corner. And now they really just can't do anything. They're having difficulty pushing on up. This Tiger should be doing more, but it needs to be supported. It needs to go in one big attack. So since they have the Blitzkrieg doctrine, what they need to do is group up everything and then use some Blitzkrieg. Okay, it's the actual ability, the Blitzkrieg. So you're not only moving faster, you're firing faster. That would be highly effective. Cromwell using flanking speed to get on around this stew. That is it. Main gun destroyed. Can't even defend himself if he wanted to. But can he finish it off in time? Can he do it? One shot into the side, into the ribs. This stew still has not died, facing the front armor to him. And the Cromwell cannot penetrate him. 3 shots right on the kisser. And he still cannot take him out. 4 shots on the kisser. I'm just going to laugh if this Cromwell dies. Oh my gosh. 4 shots right on the front. None of them managing to penetrate and finish off the stew. Even when you get deflections off of tanks, you do a slight amount of damage. Pretty funny. The stew is like on the last glimpse of health here. That it can't even be destroyed. It's almost like the 5% bug. The 5% bug is a little bit different. Because it's like all the modules get destroyed first, and then maybe it dies. But this thing, almost no health, and still it wouldn't die. I'm surprised the Sherman Firefly doesn't go and just take out, take a nice shot on it, and just take it out. May as well, but maybe they don't even care right now. It's just taking a pop cap. It's not harming anyone because it doesn't have a gun. Its gun is destroyed. Stormtroopers out on the field here, meant to be acting as some sort of anti-infantry, but if they're going to be engaging it just like this, it's not the right way to do it. If they're going to hit it from any direction, they need to hit it from the side, where there's the least amount of windows, so they're not taking as much damage, and they're focus firing on 1 or 2 guys at a time, rather. 1 squad of Commandos going down, but still not going to matter. 7 points and ticking on down real fast here. 6. 5. No point in doing a countdown. Finally got those. Okay. The Commandos. Well, not like it really means anything right now. 1 VP being decapped. The other one that was decapped as well, but it's about to be captured here. And 1 point, and playback is over. There we go, guys. I don't really think there's much of a point of doing an analysis, a post-analysis, because I think it's quite evident enough of where they went wrong. And if you can't think of why they went wrong, then it's just the same analysis that I gave a little bit earlier. The unit preservation, and also the lack of correct tactics. What I liked how the Brits didn't actually manage to push back, but I think they would have had a lot harder time if the Wehrmacht knew what they were doing. In fact, I actually think the Brits would have got defeated. They could have actually been defeated over here if the Wehrmacht knew what they were doing properly. But unfortunately, that is what happens. That is the name of the game. That is Company of Heroes. Anything can happen. You could be up against an opponent of any sort of skill. Sometimes lesser opponents or lesser skilled opponents. But yeah, that is what happens. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. And until next time, I will catch you all later.
Right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.